This is a 2018 Tesla Model 3 long range. And I can't believe that a 6-year-old car is this good. Normally when you think of a 6-year-old car, the first thing that comes to mind is probably something like a Honda Civic or a Ford Focus. Probably not a luxury compact sedan with an original MSRP of $50,000 to $60,000 US.
This is not your typical used car. Tesla is in a very different place from where they were just 10 years ago. Back then they had the Model S and Model X, and even then those cars were technically considered a luxury within their respective categories.
But now with cars like the Model 3 and the Model Y, you see Teslas just about as much as you see a Honda Civic in some places.
Heck, even legacy manufacturers like GM and Ford, and even newer ones like Rivian, are joining in on the fun, making their trucks electric. For the first time, according to JATO Dynamics, the best-selling car in the world in 2023 was a Tesla Model Y. This is a shockingly different story compared to where we first were when Tesla showed us that electric cars didn't have to be slow, lame, giant go-karts. So, what do you get in a 6-year-old electric car in 2024? Actually, quite a bit. I got this Model 3 at just over 56,000 miles, and it still smells new and looks new for the most part. I am so excited to spend many years with this car on the road. This Model 3 is the rear-wheel drive model, equipped with a single motor delivering 258 horsepower to the wheels with a 0 to 60 time of just 5.1 seconds.
While it may not be something like a Model S Plaid with a 0 to 60 time under 2 seconds, it's still neck and neck with many consumer sports cars on the market today, like a Camaro, the Mustang, pretty much anything you could find.
But unlike gas vehicles, those numbers aren't the full story here. This electric motor has something that those cars just don't have: near instantaneous torque. By far one of the biggest concerns, though, that buyers in the market looking at a used EV have is the battery. And rightfully so. Like the engine and transmission in gas vehicles, the battery is by far the most important part of an electric car. It's the most expensive thing to replace, and it's the one thing you don't want to treat like crap. And after the better part of a decade, you'd probably think that something as disposable and degradable as a battery wouldn't be in the best shape in a car like this, right? Hold up. This is something that Tesla does better than many other manufacturers. After over 6 years on the road, I'm happy to report that my Tesla has only lost 5% of its original battery capacity, or around 10 to 14 miles of range at most. At a battery health of around 95%, my Model 3 can still take me a little over 300 miles on a full charge, down from the original 310 miles. Tesla's newer battery technology introduced with the Model 3 and forward is rated to last around 200,000 to 300,000 miles on average. But the battery is still something you want to treat with respect. The average price of replacement is still anywhere from $5,000 to $19,000, but Tesla does provide a warranty for their batteries for a pretty long time though. About 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first to be exact. Furthermore, as EVs have matured as a technology, Tesla has been actively working to get this cost down. So the odds are the battery isn't something you're going to have to worry about as much during your ownership of the car. And if you do, who knows how much cheaper battery replacements are going to be in another 6 years. Speaking of batteries, you might be a little bit worried about charging. It turns out though, it's way less complicated than you probably think. Undeniably, one of Tesla's biggest contributions to the world besides their cars is their supercharging network. The first supercharger came online just over 12 years ago, and now in 2024, there are thousands of superchargers scattered along various routes that you may take across the US and now globally. So if you're worried about stopping to charge being kind of a hassle compared to stopping for gas, don't be. Here is a quick tutorial for how to supercharge your Tesla.
So first off, you're going to back in because your supercharger port is on the driver's side, typically with a Tesla. Then you're going to come over here to the supercharger. Get this guy out. There's a button on top. You press it here. Door opens. Plug in, and that's it. You're done. All of the rest takes place through the Tesla app automatically. It bills your payment that's on file, and now you just wait 15 minutes and go enjoy the nearby amenity. That's it.
But the majority of your charging isn't actually done at these superchargers. Unlike gas stations, It's actually done at home. There's actually about 3 different levels of electric vehicle charging. There's level 1, which is the painfully slow regular 120 outlet. Level 2, which is a little bit faster, it's a couple hours. It's probably what you've heard about when a lot of people incorrectly assume that you have to stop at a level 2 along your road trip, which, yeah, that would be kind of annoying waiting around like 3 hours on a 2-hour road trip. And then there's level 3 chargers, which are Tesla Supercharger and some Electrify America CCS stations. Of course, you can use the regular old 120 plug, but it is slow, and I mean painfully slow. So here's the best option in my experience. I opted to have this weatherproof NEMA 1450 outlet installed on the outside where I park for my car. This is the Tesla Mobile Connector, which runs you about $250 US and comes with a standard 120 outlet that you're used to here in the US, or a NEMA 1450 socket as well, which you're probably used to seeing with bigger type stuff like RVs or anything like a recreational vehicle. So all I have to do is come home, plug up, and go to bed. I literally never think about it. Getting a home charger installed is actually a very big deal when it comes to buying an EV, but it's not nearly as much of a hassle as you'd probably think. Full transparency, my first quote I got was from a much bigger box national brand company, and it was about $4,000, and they said it would be a 5-day job. It was a massive, something was fishy. So I wanted to get a second opinion, which brings me to who I got to install my home charger. I went on the Tesla website and looked up their recommended installers directly, and I found these guys, car charger specialists. They were in and out in a little under an hour. Super nice, great to work with, and most importantly, not $4,000. Did you know that their entire fleet is electric? They showed up to my house at 8 a.m. on a Monday in 2 Rivians and a Model 3 and Model Y Performance. So if you're in the Atlanta metro area and want a charger installed for your EV, just give them a call and tell them I sent you. So that's all cool and great, but why did I give up my production van for this 6-year-old Tesla? The answer is actually quite surprising. Cost. Over the course of 2023, I spent nearly $5,000 just maintaining the van. That was a pretty shocking number, and while it was a fantastic hauling vehicle, it wasn't as much a great daily driver. Whereas with the Tesla, all you have to worry about is your charging cost and your tires. That's it. Owning a Tesla is drastically cheaper. Most owners only spend about $25 per month at home charging their car, and most supercharger visits are insanely cheap. They range from about $2 to $15 on average. That's it. Speaking of cost, you may be wondering how much I paid for this Model 3. Like $35K, $40K, heck, maybe $60K? Nope. $24,900, and that was buying direct from Tesla, so it was literally as easy as buying a cup of coffee with Apple Pay. Probably a little dangerously easy. But that's a story for another video.
So in 2024, should you buy a used Tesla? Well, if your situation works out anything like I did, absolutely.
For cheaper than a new Honda Civic, I got a lightly used, all-electric, high-tech car that still performs amazingly to this day. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this. This does not feel like a 6-year-old car at all. The experience you get with a Tesla with features like autopilot and summon make it still feel light years ahead of the competition, especially for anything else in this price bracket. So yes, I drive a 6-year-old Tesla now, and it still feels like the car of tomorrow. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below and let me know. Are you thinking about buying a used Tesla? Do you have any questions about my buying experience or any recommendations from me? Leave a comment down below and let's have a chat about it. And to stay updated on my experience owning this used Tesla, which I've filmed like 6 videos by the way already, hit that big red subscribe button and bell notification icon next to it so you can always be in the know when I upload new videos. And as always, see you in the next one.